Hey everybody, zjayfi here. We're back with another edition of three-piece Murakami versus three-piece Hardwired. I ran into a situation today on the Facebook page where somebody posted a three-piece Hardwired with Wyvern and two pieces Hannah, and immediately a whole bunch of people jumped on him saying, no, you gotta have three-piece Murakami, you gotta have three-piece Murakami, it's so much better, it's the only way to do it. And they were just so adamant and so defensive when I told them that the difference between the two was negligible at best, and that technically the Hardwired hits harder, and since this is a skill damage build, you pretty much want to get all the skill damage that you can. Some of them were receptive, some of them acknowledged that they tested it and that it actually did hit harder, but they preferred the skill duration, and that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I guess my point in making this video is to point out that it is a personal preference if you prefer the three-piece Hardwired for the extra damage, or if you prefer the three-piece Murakami for the extra duration and the extra skill haste. Go ahead. Either way, this build works perfectly fine. This is a wonderful build. It can help you solo heroics. You can solo a legendary if you're skilled, if you're very, very skilled with it. It's not easy, but it can be done. So everybody agrees this is a good build, and if you see somebody running three-piece Hardwired, there is no reason to attack them. Same thing if you're a three-piece Hardwired guy and you see somebody with three-piece Murakami. It doesn't have to be an argument. The difference is negligible at best. But since TU 11.1, we've gotten this new talent, which is in sync, and I finally got the min-maxed Murakami pieces that I needed to make this thing work. I put in a Hannah holster, which is not min-maxed. I have Hannah knees, but I wanted to make the testing fair so that all the pieces would be the same. This one is not min-maxed, but it's better than the one I had in there before. At least it has the full skill damage. So each build is going to be equal in terms of skill damage, and of course the Murakami is always going to have the advantage when it comes to skill haste, as well as a skill duration. And so it comes down to a preference as to which one of those you want. For me, it's a skill damage build. I would like to have the skills hit harder. So here we've got 125 damage on it. We've got 11.9 on the cooldown and 252 on the duration. And we have 12.7 for the cooldown. We have 267 duration and 78,000 damage on this one. Now, somebody pointed out to me that in my earlier video I auto-swapped loadouts, and so they thought there might be some trickery with the mods that are in it. Like maybe you take out the damage mod, you know, for one of the builds just to skew the video. I'm going to prove that I'm not doing that here. I will manually switch pieces so that you will know there is no trickery going on. We just have standard mods in there. I do have kinetic momentum in this one instead of glass cannon, so we won't be able to proc that in the range, but keep in mind that this would hit much harder in the actual game. We're going to test it out the exact same way that we used to. Just instead of spike, we're going to have the in-sync rifle, which is the greatest thing ever to happen in skill builds. And we're going to see how this does. So before tech support, we're getting 149, 122. Now that tech support is procced, we're getting 186, 402. $186,402, and that's with tech support and in sync. Still 186,402 with tech support and in sync procced. So, now we're going to switch over to our Hardwired pieces. Make sure I got the right ones here. Why do I have two of these? Guess it doesn't matter. I have two of these also. Interesting. I don't know why, but... Okay. So here's our Hardwired. We'll reset the counter. Before tech support, 152, 104. So that's about 3,000 better. After tech support, 190, 130. So that's about 4,000 better. And keep in mind that gap would widen if kinetic momentum or glass cannon were involved here. So potentially the gap would be more like 6,000 or 7,000 per shot with our chest talent procced, whether that be glass cannon or kinetic momentum. Oops. 190, 130. Now what's the difference in skill haste and skill duration when we make this change? 13.1 seconds versus 11.9 that it was in the other build. And as you can see, we still have the same mods in there, so there's no trickery there. So yeah, that's 1.2 seconds difference. The duration is considerable. It lasts about 40, if I'm doing math, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it was in the 250 something or high 240s. So let's say it lasts 30 additional seconds. The base damage went up by a full 3,245 about. And here the base damage went up by, I believe, a little bit more. If I remember correctly, it was 76 or 73, so about 3,000 here. Here the cooldown is about 1.7 seconds longer. The duration also is about the same, 30 or 40 seconds less duration. Me personally, I don't know about you guys, I have never ever had my skills die of old age. I have always broken the turret down before it died of old age. Well, in the raid sometimes it will die of old age if I'm using it at Pfizer. That's the only situation that I can think of. The drone almost always gets shot down before 229 seconds is up. So, like I said, this is all about personal preference. You know, if you like having that extra duration, there is nothing wrong with that, because keep in mind the skill damage that we're talking about here is only a couple of thousand. Now, yeah, alright, so you add that up over the course of a heroic mission. Are you talking significant numbers? Well, yes and no, because keep in mind that the weaker skills are going to come back a second or two faster, which is another second that they're out there doing damage that these skills are not. So in the end, it's pretty well going to balance out, but my gut tells me that over the course of the mission, the hardwired is probably going to stack up. A little bit more damage, and when I say a little bit, we're talking over the course of a legendary, 50 to 100 million more, maybe. But like I said, that may be affected by the shortened duration. It may be affected by the lengthened cooldown. I don't think either way of running this build is wrong. I think whatever way you want to run this build is fantastic, and you should just enjoy it. Remember that we use the builds to complete the content, and not the other way around. The builds themselves aren't the content. So min-maxing builds is fantastic. I think it's a great idea to have min-max builds, but just keep in mind that 3 pieces Murakami is splitting hairs between 3 pieces hardwired and 3 pieces Murakami, and it boils down to a personal choice. So when someone is running the 3-piece hardwired, there is no need to adamantly shout to the heavens that this person needs to run 3 pieces Murakami, because the benefits of it are different. First off, they're not comparable. Having weaker skills come back faster is different than having harder hitting skills come back slower. So you're comparing apples and oranges. The additional duration is a personal thing, and I don't like to see somebody be told that their build isn't good, or that their build needs to be worked on, or that they need to go spend 20 hours grinding out God-rolled Murakami stuff, when that's just not the case. So I hope everybody found this educational. This build is really, really strong, and I'm expecting it to get nerfed probably with this next update. I'm willing to bet that that these skill builds take a dive. So enjoy it while we can. Have a good night.